Whoa! Hello, everybody. What's up, everybody?
What's up?
Yeah, we got a full house. We have got a full house of fun today. This is Jess Paul. We got Zack Wiseman and Tony Berardo, three friends of the show, long time. But before we get into anything, and we got a lot to get into today, let's do the theme song. We're going in cold. We didn't even practice.
Man, I forgot about the theme song. Oh my gosh, I'm so unprepared in so many ways, guys.
All right, Jess, you kick us off. Unprepared means it only can be amazing. It means it only can be amazing.
Here's the story of some lonely fellows who spend way too much time watching the TV. Oh, I still got it. All of them have jobs and friends. Well, not really. Just between you and me.
Oh, that was amazing. Zack.
They made a live show out of their hobbies. Every TV watcher's TV watching dream. Jeff and Sal and Rob and Ron. And there's Howard and Tony and Jess Paul and sometimes me. And they call it Crossing Streams.
Tony.
And then one day they went live on all the platforms. You could hear the people laugh and shout and scream. Still can't find another word that rhymes with platform. But man, we cross those streams.
Everyone, we cross the streams.
We cross the streams.
That's the way we do it. We cross the streams.
I'm already done, guys.
That never ends well.
No,
I think only one time everyone's mic was good enough.
Yeah, right.
It actually came across okay. Our five-part harmony. It is not meant. So we got a bunch of cool guests. This is Jess Paul.
Hi, Jess.
Back.
Hey guys.
Good to see you again.
Got the night off. Can spend it with my buddies.
What is Jess Paul up to these days?
Oh my gosh, I'm right in the middle of filming a movie, a feature.
Ooh, what movie?
It's called Olivia's Day, and I'm Olivia.
Oh, we were talking about it last time with the picture. You had the picture.
Oh
with
my
the flower.
God. I'm not allowed to. Yes. So there's a poster that's created, and obviously it looks nothing like what my character looks like right now. So we're going to have to update the art with some of the, I guess, the shots from the movie. And I mean, I've already seen it in log, which if any of you movie guys know means like no color added to it, just the takes. I'm already impressed. So I'm, that's the dramatic cover. But we got to change that up because
you're not
Olivia evolved.
She evolves. It's no longer holding a sunflower.
No.
Right.
She's holding a daisy. So through it, the whole
Wow.
everything had to change. Everything's. Are you impressed?
Awesome.
I had it that fast.
That was pretty good.
I know. All right, that's awesome. Tony, tell us all about Meet Cute and your UGCs and muscles.
Well, how much time do you guys have? So yeah, I'm Tony. I own two companies. One is my content business where I create UGC videos, which is user-generated content videos to help brands grow on social media. And I also have a podcast that's called the Berardo Podcast, available everywhere. And I also cut up clips and edit podcast videos for fellow creators. My second business is Meet Cute Box. It's a date night box that the wife and I started in May, and that is going surprisingly excitingly well. And you could find all that on my website, theberardo.com, or follow me on social media, The Berardo. But as always, I am just a small pea in this large pot of incredibly talented folks in Crossing the Streams. It's very honored to be here, as always. So thank you.
Well, good to have you. And before we get to our final guest, hello, Carmen.
And Jerry.
Hello, Carmen, Jerry. Hey, thanks.
Hey,
Zack.
Hey, guys.
Hey-o.
Try and limit it to like 6 of your 1,800 podcasts, but tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, so I roughly have between 6 and 1,800 podcasts, and here's exactly 7 of them. No, we are a content churning machine. We are constantly doing roughly 6 shows at once. The ones that you have not heard of. I don't know if you guys know this, but in 2002, I was actually on a television show in Lewis, Delaware, about a coming-of-age tale and kids going to high school in Delaware. That was actually released on Real Player. So I'm doing a rewatch of those now and recording those with the cast. It's called Lewis, Delaware. We also are doing season 2 of Create Your Own Podventure, which is a podcast where you listen to episode 1 and then you choose where to go after that. Once at the end of episode 1, you decide and choose if you want to follow the snake or to consume the antidote. Season 1's been out for about a year now. It did very well. It's called Appeal. It's about someone who creates a technology that when you wear these goggles, it tells you what your body needs. The problem is that you as a human don't know how to interpret it. The goggles say, you need this plant, but you don't know if you should smoke it or eat it or rub it on your skin. So you choose what to do. And then you follow the episodes after that. Season 2 takes place on a crabbing fish boat when a bunch of fish people come on top and attack everyone. And then you get to choose what to do. 40 cast members. It's like 9,000 page script. It is a big deal.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's very, very impressive.
Thanks, Jeff.
You're welcome, sir. Real quick, the rules of the night. If anyone drinks, if Bob drinks, drink. Technical issues, drink. Jess, did we have the drinking game last time you were here?
No, I don't think so.
If anyone asks what platform their show is on, you have to drink.
No.
If they put us, if you put your name on the screen, drink. Forget someone's name, drink. If Zack disagrees with someone twice his age, drink.
Watch out, Bob.
The shout out to our friends at Ukraine. He was just named Times Person of the Year, clearly to upset all the GOPs and
Russians.
And Russian, right? And then also this past week we lost a couple. We lost Bob McGrath and Kirstie Alley.
Damn.
Yeah, man, this show is just becoming a weekly in memoriam every week.
They keep dying. They keep dying.
People be dying.
Bob McGrath, I'm sure at least a couple of us grew up with. And I will say Kirstie Alley, and this is what I tweeted this. I said, political differences aside, I don't think there's any comedic actress or actor better than Kirstie Alley. I do think she was one of the funniest. What? Yeah, she was one of the funniest.
No comedic actor better than Kirstie Alley.
No. Well, sitcom. Yeah. And so I mean, I think she was one of the best sitcom actors. Not a comedian. She's not a comedian.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at the shoes she had to fill when Shelley Long took off. That was like, wait, the show's going to crater. How are we going to get along without Shelley Long? And she comes in and raises it to a whole new level. She was pretty good.
She was good. Yeah, I am forever blocked on Twitter by Kirstie Alley, but that aside, I'm willing to put that aside.
Is that true?
Yeah, and so. No, I'm sure it's true. So the I will say,
who cares what else you're about to say?
Are you holding a grudge on a dead woman?
I said I'm not holding a grudge.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's
how did you get
blocked?
I don't know. But just one day I noticed she was blocked. She's very MAGA, right? I mean, so. Yeah. So we had that difference, but I must have said something.
I don't think I knew that. I didn't really think about what Kirstie Alley thought about politics.
She was kind of known for that later, but but we did talk not too long ago in the show, and Zack was on that episode where we talked about Drop Dead Gorgeous, which is
I do love that movie.
It's a great movie, great, and she's great in it. It's awesome. So, anywho,
I haven't seen it in a little while.
Yeah.
Well, cheers to Chrissy, pun intended.
Cheers.
Okay.
Awesome.
You're welcome.
Right. And then I will say Black Adam, I read lost 50 to 100 million. And then they claim though the sequel's going on and Hawkman spinoff, but yet they canceled Wonder Woman 3. And they're still running Flash with Ezra Miller, even though he committed more crimes than half the people whose movies they canceled in this world. And so
did you read why though? They say the movie is so good that they're it's like letting who's the guy, Deshaun Watson, play in the NFL again after he all the criming and raping and
but then a guy like Ocho Cinco, you don't mind kicking him out because he sucked. So but Flash is good, I heard. So
Zack Wiseman, did you see Black Adam?
I did.
Did you like it?
No.
I hated it.
Well, I
didn't
liked
either.
it for what it was trying to be, but I didn't like it for what it was. I'm a fan of the Zack Snyder side of the DCEU. My problem is that this is an origin story that doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't have a reason to know this guy. I don't have a reason to like this guy. He doesn't really do anything. He has no agency. It is just a rock-driven, slow-motion, like, bash fest. And the part that connects it to DCEU, I liked. The part that was just a movie, it was just kind of dumb. It didn't.
Yeah,
there's no
I
reason.
didn't care. I'm
Like
with
that,
you, Zach. I didn't care.
it definitely should have been that type of movie. Was almost like if we introduced him maybe in like the last Justice League or something. If there wasn't, but if we knew about him before, but I liked how it went right into the action.
Yeah.
And it was just action packed. It was a Hancock. That's what it was. It was Hancock with no boobs.
Oh, I never thought of that.
It's more of a
Hancock.
remake of Terminator 2 without having the Terminator 1. It's this big, powerful person that comes and takes a kid and then bashes stuff up, and you're like, I don't know what you're doing. You're from a different part of time, and then he dies, and you're like, all right, well, that was something.
They're like,
Good point,
this.
yeah.
My feeling. No, I don't want to. I think I went off a rant last time, but like my feeling of it was, here's a guy. He wakes up after 5,000 years. And Dr. Fate, I thought they wasted. It was just stupid.
Oh, so great.
He was cool.
It looked good, but he was only Dr. Fate for what, a minute? And then it's just Pierce Bronson walking around with a helmet in his hand. And when he did talk, it was like, you are right? And I like mumbling. That's my point. And he goes, you are not, you have to leave this earth or die. And it's like, hello, he was born here. This is like somebody going, go back to where you're from. I'm like, I'm from Ohio. You know what I mean? It's like one of those scenes.
Good point. Good point.
I was born in Kahndaq, mister.
Yeah. And so it's like,
take your white ass back to Brooklyn.
It's like he's from America, and they just assume he's evil. Right? They just assume, like, there's no Justice Society page in that book that says maybe someone who's 5,000 years old, we need to give them 5 minutes to acclimate.
Yeah, just 5.
Just 5 minutes before we try and murder him and set this on a spiral we can't come back from because he could kill us all.
See,
and let's send the people that have never even put on a costume before into their first battle.
And literally the weakest, most useless, whatever they're supposed to be, Hawkman. Jesus Lord.
All right. Yeah. Well, all right. So let's move on. Let's we could go on and bash them all day. Last week, and this is episode 98 of Crossing the Streams. And so we have 97 hours currently streaming and creating the 98th hour, as we are creators creating the 98th hour. Last week, we talked about Guardians Holiday Special, Tulsa King, Holiday Rush, Cinderella Man, and we did not talk about The Wonder because Ron had to drop off. We are talking about Artsy Madwoman, part of the Jess Paul YouTube series. we got Greenbook, Snack versus Chef, and Wednesday. So we got a good show of binge watching stuff for you today.
There's even a snack in between. I can't wait to watch that.
Yeah, let's kick things off with Snack versus Chef. Let's take it right to the Zack Meister himself.
Yeah. All right.
Give me the munchies, Zach.
All right, let me tell you about this, guys. Snack versus Chef. Have you ever looked at a Pringle and thought, how the hell do you make that? Well, I tell you, somebody crafted a whole show around this thing. What happens is you have 8 very talented chefs, and they have a vending machine that tells them what they have to make. Once this vending machine spits out some random bit of snack food, they have roughly 1 hour to use different kinds of ingredients to just try to make the best interpretation of, say, a Flamin' Hot Cheeto or a Pringle, or I think they do Flamin' Hot Cheeto a couple times. Either way, it is nonstop snack making. These people use different kind of starches to figure out how to get the hyperbolic paraboloid, which is what a Pringle's called. And you learn that if you watch Snack v Chef. The thing about this show is it has 4 hosts. And you might say to yourself, that sounds like too many. You're right. It is. There are 4 hosts. I don't know why they're on here. There's 2 that are kind of food people, and then there are 2 that are comedians. The one that's a comedian, her name is Megan Stalter. Probably one of the most banging Instagram pages I've ever seen. She is hot on Instagram, but she's also stars in the show Hacks that I think you guys have talked about before. She has a lot of different Emmy nominations for the show. A phenomenal comedian, great actor. She's up and coming. The problem is that she's up against another comedian named Harry Kondabolu. I think that's how you say his name. He's an Indian comedian. He's done a couple sitcoms, nothing great. But the problem is those two, they just clash constantly. They're trying to be the funnier of the two. And then there's two judges that are both foodies. So they're constantly fighting over which one knows more about food. And then the other two are fighting over which one to be funnier. The problem is, actually, the anti-problem is that these contestants are so lovable. You follow these people because they're just regular people and they're trying hard to figure out how do you curve a Pringle properly? Do you put it in a taco press or do you make your own grate and jam it into a deep fryer? Who knows? But I can tell you, I have Instagrammed message 3 of the finalists and they have all 3 responded to me. And
wow.
I love them all. And the first one to respond to me, I'm in a relationship.
Impressive.
With. Yep. So. But either way, it is a very tight, cool show. It's very similar to like Is This Cake, where it's consumable but throwaway content. Once you watch it, you're not going to want to rewatch it, but it is cute, it is heartwarming, and you do fall in love with these contestants, and you do wonder why there's too many judges. But all in all, snake versus food, yeah, it's cool.
Snake
versus
Snake.
Well, I think it sounds like what you're saying is that maybe the British Bake Off is having a kind of an impact. Scott Curtis invented snacks and wants to know if this is a podcast.
I don't know if you know this, Jeff, but the Great British Bake Off actually has a side show called the Great Pottery Flame Off or something. And it has the same exact structure. Everything's the same except they're just making pottery. But that's not what I'm talking about.
What I'm talking about is they have 2 comedians. They've got two hosts, 2 judges.
But it works on British Bake Off for some reason. It just does not work here. There's only so many Pringles jokes you can make.
And
so Zach,
the people aren't against each other either. No. That's always nice.
Yeah.
So Zach, are the comedians like the hosts? Is it improv-y or does it seem scripted?
It is improv-y, and you can tell because it's boring. Because they're just like 4 people are just watching and go, I don't know how to make a Cheeto. And then the other person's like, yeah, how do you make a Cheeto? And then they're like, I like dust. And you're like, okay, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Let me see these contestants again. But I do know how to make a Cheeto and a Pringle right now. And I'm very happy about that.
And are they different contestants every time, or are they going through it like?
Oh no, they get kicked off. Yeah,
gotcha.
They get kicked off. It goes down to a final 2, and then they get to make whatever snack food they want. One of the coolest snack foods I saw is they get to like a free reign. They get to make their own like packaging and their own snack. If you could make a snack, what would it be? And one person made like sushi snacks where you would open up and it was all like dried salmon skin or like weird fish flavored nori. So it like was like eating a sushi plate all at once. Somebody tried to do a pasta dish as a snack. So it's interesting what they're trying to do with it. And I'm excited to see season 2, although season 1 was kind of boring, but still consumable.
I like that. I do like that kind of content where I need only half my brain to consume it.
Yeah. You're like, why is that purple? Who cares?
What was the cooking show that came out with the guy from Schitt's Creek as the host? Can't remember.
Oh yeah,
Eugene Levy's in a cooking show.
No, the son Daniel Levy.
Oh,
Anywho, okay, so snack versus chef. So is it one of those things where it's like everyone's like, it's me, and it's like, Oreo is the white on the inside or the outside? I can't remember. I've never seen an Oreo. I only heard people talking about it. And then Jess is like, oh no, I can't get these cookies to be the same size. And then Tony's like, oh, the cream. I had to start over. And then at the end, they're all perfect.
You had me until the end. Yeah. There's always one person like, I've never had a Cheeto. I don't know what to do with this. And one person's like, what's dust? People talk about dust. And at the end, they're not perfect.
Okay.
You get a mixed bag at the end. Of course, there's going to be a winner and a loser.
There's winners and there's losers. And it's the friendships you make along the way, which is the real snack food if you get down to it. And we're Instagram friends.
That was so cheesy. It was fantastic.
Thank you.
That was amazing.
I got that one of my meat cube boxes. Doesn't matter what's in here. It's the friends you make along the way.
How many contestants does it start with, Zach?
I think it's 8.
Wow. Okay. That kind of journey. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's pretty solid. Yeah. You learn some stuff.
Gotcha.
It sounds delicious.
Sounds amazing.
I'm going to watch it. You sold me.
Yes.
You know what
I can watch something with snacks in it for sure.
It's cool, yeah. Because like I'm a chef and like watching Chopped, it's like, oh, what would I do with these baskets? But if somebody's like, Zach, make a Cheeto, I'm like, I have no idea what to do, and that's kind of interesting.
Wait,
I
you're
always
a
thought there
chef?
were just certain things that could only be made in a factory. Like,
No.
Wait, when did Zach become a chef?
Oh, I was a chef for 12 years. I owned multiple restaurants for many years.
Really?
He has a
Wow, look at
podcast
this
about it,
guy.
I'm
the
sure.
many
How
layers
old
of
are you,
Zach. You just
Zach?
keep
Yeah.
peeling back
I'm
the onion.
44.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I owned
Wow.
6 restaurants in Delaware and Maryland, and a grocery store.
He's got
actually.
so many lives. He's like a
That's a lot
cat.
of
That's what
lives.
I want to be.
Exactly like a cat.
I gotta get inside Zach's head one of these days. All right. Let's move on though right now
Okay.
to Artsy Madwoman. Jess Paul's taking us
We
through
are
the world
jumping
of
into
YouTube.
the YouTube correspondence responsibility and giving you
Madwoman.
a rundown of this channel, Artsy Madwoman. Now, it would be weird because like this isn't a gigantic, channel. Maybe I want to say she's probably around over 100,000. I should have checked that out. But what was so cool about finding this channel, and that's what you do, just like on Netflix, when you're browsing, you don't know where to go next, you will stumble upon something, and YouTube just has an algorithm that pushes you in all kinds of different directions. There are people that have millions, I probably say this every time, billions of subscribers, and you've never heard their name before. They just exist in these little pockets of the world where, like, does anyone know who Mark Rober is? Rober? Mark
from
Rober.
YouTube?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, this guy, he will rack up like 14 million views on every single episode. He's a scientist. He's an ex-NASA. And he's the one that pranks everybody every year with the stolen boxes and glitter bombs, the thieves
Oh yeah,
with
that
cameras. That guy.
Yeah,
But
that
I
guy.
mean, this is what I'm saying. Like YouTube is such a vast sea. It's like such uncharted territory, like the ocean, like the actual ocean. So anyways, so the thing about Artsy Madwoman that just fascinates me is that I like organically stumbled upon this channel and watched this channel go from like maybe like a few thousand all the way up to what she's at now. And not every channel does that. You will run into channels, you will like maybe a channel will have a popular video, but they'll never really make it to the degree where they could quit their job. Like these YouTubers can quit their job and just be a full-time YouTuber. Which is, oh my gosh, the life. I want that life one day. And but yeah, so you literally got this woman who starts out, she's got colored hair just like me, and this is what YouTube does. You find people like in your community. It's like a different world. And so she has colored hair, but she's kind of quirky. She's called Artsy Madwoman, so she must have some quirk to her, but she's also very apologetic and timid. And what I got to do is watch this at some of her earliest videos. I watched some of her earliest videos being uploaded and literally watched an evolution of a person kind of finding themselves and developing a voice on a platform. It was really fun. So she's only been on the platform for like 3 years. I came in at year 1. And so now I've literally gotten to watch this evolution. So Artsy Madwoman, it's like she had to like even grow into her own name. What she does, I haven't even told you yet. What she does.
Well, tell us.
I was worried you were wrapping up, and I'm like, I don't think I even understand what she does.
The build up is fantastic.
I love watching people make art. Even art that I never intend to do. There might be tutorials, but I'm just really watching for funsies. And what she'll do is she started out with resin art, which can be a very fascinating and specific art form of making colors and shapes and objects and patterns within resin. You get to use these things for containers and all kinds of art. She's an artist, and so she would do some kind of experiment, had some kind of thematic about it every week. Again, doing this in her like attic apartment, you could clearly see like this is homemade. This is homemade. And she eventually continued to graduate up to other art forms. She like branched out, and now she just makes rugs all the time. She just makes rugs. But what was so cool to watch recently is that like she's really, like I kind of said, she's grown into her personality, and she's so funny and just basically trying things out as they go. What she would demold her resin art at the end of every episode. And it would be the biggest suspense to know what she was going to think of the final product. and and we were literally learning as she was what this piece that we've been making all week actually looks like, which it's literally watching an entire personality grow into its own. And I wanted to bring up this kind of channel because this is the beauty of YouTube. I think it's really odd. I also think it's odd that I'm an actor who barely watches movies or TV. I like it. It doesn't make any sense, right? But I'm so interested to see what a real person's life or education or persona can evolve over time. It's almost like a masterclass in itself of creating a character, isn't it? Even though you're not creating a character, you're just growing and developing. Like, it's my kind of case study. And if anybody ever makes fun of me for not watching movies, I'm going to say, you know what? I've got my own school. So
no, it makes sense. I mean, Bob, do you watch a lot of comedy?
No, I was just gonna say, comedians don't watch a lot of comedy. It's like, you being an actor.
That makes sense to me, because now tell me why with me in watching a lot of movies, I'm so particular about, how I want a movie to be made and what I would want a performance to be, that it's hard to watch a lot of other people, considering like this is, I have my own tastes and I want to be one of my goals is to be realistic as possible. But sometimes I feel like it's all a bunch of play acting. So you probably have your own taste of what comedy should be. What kind of feelings arise when you watch someone else's comedy? Do you feel anxiety? Do you feel like, do you feel critical of the comedians because it's your profession?
Yeah, there's nobody more critical than a bunch of comedians in a room watching a special. What the fuck? No, it's really not being critical. I don't want to watch. I think we talked about it on another episode. I don't want to watch anything that would give me an idea or plant a seed in my head, and then later on, I get the subliminal little trigger and I do a bit based on what I heard, and now I'm doing somebody else's bit, So I don't want to watch it.
Right, which is the same reason, like when someone comes up to you after the show and goes, "I got a joke for you."
Yeah,
you can have it. I'm like, thanks, thanks. Yeah.
And it's usually something awful and racist.
I'd like to thank you and Google. There's only one time, Bob, that ever happened to me where actually they gave me an idea and I wrote an actual tag to a joke.
Wow.
Yeah. So anywho, it can happen once in 20 years. It happens.
But so, there, I will. The second answer to that question is there are certain comedians that I watch. The late George Carlin, Bill Burr. I just watch and go, I don't know why I'm doing this. Why would I do this? They've done it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I feel when I see
so
Tony's
good.
UGC.
Huh?
And then I see Tony's videos. I'm like, why do I do this? Why am I trying? He's so good. I'll never.
But that's what's great about being a creative or a YouTuber or an actor or a comedian is that you're going to find, to Jess's point, you're going to find a community, whether that's 100 people or 10,000 people that are going to appreciate your content and consume your content constantly. And that's why it's so important that everyone's creative in their craft and does what they're passionate about and what they're good at, because there is going to be someone that, actually watches it or listens to it.
I swear to God, I thought you were going to say, hey, the beautiful thing about YouTube is you don't have to be as good looking as me. There's room for everybody at every level.
If you didn't interrupt me, that's what I was going to end with.
Yeah, I hope that's true.
Yeah. And if you want to be successful.
Well, okay. Well, now you ruined it. You did that little cheesecake thing and you do the whole.
All right. So,
he knows what's going on.
All right. Thank you, Jess.
Thank you, Jess.
A deep dive into the world of YouTube, and we look forward to coming back and sharing more. Now, if you know Bob Phillips, then you know that he believes Greenbook is the greatest Christmas movie of all time, and I am looking forward to him talking all about it.
Well, I saw this movie back in 2018, and I don't know if you knew this, but this won Best Picture in 2019.
I do remember that.
And I went back and rewatched it and had forgotten all about that. And I remember the Academy took a lot of heat because they thought that it was sort of a formulaic kind of movie, and that was, they played a little loose with some of the darker racist undertones that were going on during that time. But it's a movie, and it had a lot of great stuff going on in it. I mean, it's a true story. Viggo Mortensen plays Frank Vallelonga, actually Tony Lip, he calls himself. And Mahershala Ali plays Don Shirley, a world-class pianist who is going literally into the Deep South during November and December to do a tour. The whole thing is fraught with these sort of dichotomies where he's being asked to come down there and play because the white society wants to see him, but he's not allowed to use a bathroom or eat with them in their country club, right? Now, that gets its title from an actual book. It was called the Greenbook. The guy's last name was Green, and he wrote it for like 3 decades, and it was for African Americans to navigate the South, to figure out where they could eat, where it would be safe, which motels and hotels would have them, right? So Frank is he's a bouncer at literally at the Copacabana in the Bronx, and he gets asked to accompany Don Shirley into the deepest, most dangerous parts of the South to help him along this tour and be his driver and his protector. Well, as you would guess, there's all kinds of comedy that goes on between Don Shirley, who's very repressed and very talented and very, I don't know what else the word would be here, kind of uptight. And here's Tony Lip. He's smoking. He's eating donuts while he's driving. And, it's Viggo Mortensen. Yeah, And so there's a lot of that going on. And then there's the real stuff where they have to go and find a place to stay. And they don't know. It's not in the Green Book, or they're told they can't stay. There's moments where where Shirley has to go to this country club. He's not allowed to eat there. So Tony Lip says, well, you're not going to stay. Come with me. And they go to another joint down the street, have a great time. Don Shirley starts playing boogie woogie piano and, kind of finding himself again. There's all kinds of stuff going on, little side stories where they help each other, become better men. And that's a great part of the movie. Now, why is it a Christmas movie? Because it ends on Christmas Eve. That's why. And the whole point to the second half of this movie is to do what he has to do. And Tony has to protect him while he's doing what he has to do. And they got to get home by Christmas Eve. So there are a number of very uncomfortable, very awful things that happened to Don Shirley. He gets arrested, and has the phone number to Bobby Kennedy to get him out of jail. This was an actual thing that happened. Wow. And he didn't do anything wrong. Don Shirley was gay, and he met a man, and they, decided to hang out. Somebody saw them, called the cops, got thrown in jail, all that horridness. So I'm not going to give too much of the movie away because like I said, there's a lot of little subplots. One of the things is that Tony Lip's wife is she loves him. She does, but she doesn't expect a lot from him in terms of romance and subtlety. Well, Don Shirley helps Tony write letters back home to her that are romantic and gets her swooning. And she figures out early on it's not him writing the letters; he's getting help. But she loves the fact that this is going on. So the Christmas part, I won't tell you how it ends, but it ends beautifully. It ends beautifully, despite the fact that Sebastian Maniscalco is overacting and chewing the scenery like a goat. But it's a beautiful depiction. It's kind of a scary depiction sometimes in this movie of what happened. People who are just trying to get something to eat, just find a place to stay for the night. So I don't know. How do I wrap this up?
If I could interject, saying I agree, it's a fantastic movie. I love the.
I like the way you think.
I love the evolution of both characters, how they totally hate each other, resent each other, so much anger and frustration, and like they're ignoring how each side. Like I love Tony and his whole character in the beginning, where he's like, it's not going to be that bad. We're just going to drive. We're going to stop someplace. We're going to do some things, whatever.
Yeah.
And then he realizes throughout the whole movie, he's like, oh shit, this is rough. Like, and he starts getting more on his side, and then the other actor gets more on his side. It's a very beautiful coming of ages, yin and yang, where totally separate they come together in the end. It's a great movie.
I thought it was too, and I thought it deserved the Academy Award. That one of the criticisms leveled against it was that it kind of sugarcoated things, but I don't think it did at all. I think that they were trying to maintain a certain tone to the movie, and that it was it's such a simplistic ending. Well, that's what happened. That's what happened in real life. So sometimes we can get so jaded, I think, that even when they're showing real things that actually happened, we're like, no way did that happen.
Yeah.
But it ends on Christmas Eve.
Now, are you going to watch that on Christmas, or is that like December 18th?
Yeah, no, it's not. I've watched it many times. I could watch it on Christmas. I like it.
Yeah. All right, cool.
So it has a 77% Rotten Tomatoes, but a 91% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
So you got to listen. You got to listen to Rotten Tomatoes. They're never wrong.
Yeah. Well, the jaded critics.
It's a movie like Greenbook. You could probably be kind of, it doesn't have any fan base either way.
Rotten Tomatoes gave Black Adam like a 98, didn't it, or something?
No, it's a 60 something.
Oh, what's that?
All right. Well, very cool. All right. Well, I'm glad we gave Greenbook its due, and now. This is a show that I wanted to talk about, but I know Tony was talking about it, and so I wanted to bring Tony on to talk about it. Wednesday. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da da da.
So that theme song is not in the series. Let's start with that. Okay. So anybody who hated that theme song, which I don't know why you would. Zack.
Oh, I like that.
But it's not in there, which is positive. I will say this: you should go into this not expecting Addams Family, which to me at first I wasn't excited about, and then I started watching. I was like, "Oh, this is better than what I expected." And Jeff, I'm interested in your take, because how I watch this is like, to me, classic Tim Burton. This is like a mix of, if I had to like sum it up in a sentence, I would say The Nightmare Before Christmas in live action. Right? Like if you watched Nightmare Before Christmas,
love it.
Right? And you watch it now, like today. We just watched it because we had this like schedule in December where we like, Nightmare Before kind of kicks it off, because it's not really a Christmas movie. It is, but it's kind of like creepy and it's weird. So we watched it and we're like, how did we watch this as kids? Like, this is terrifying. There is some disgusting,
it really is,
like the boogeyman with maggots coming at him. Like, what the fuck? Like, I remember like as a kid watching this like in December. I'm like, what is happening here? So
do you know Tim Burton did not direct The Nightmare Before Christmas?
He didn't. In fact, he had to buy which I forget what show that is. What show they tell that whole story of?
Yeah. It's just people think he did because his name's on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did he do? Just produce it or write it and produce it?
He wrote it and he produced it. He also like did all the design art for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he passed it off. He sat back and did absolutely nothing. And then they just slapped his name on it and he got a shit ton of money. It was genius.
They wouldn't let him do it.
Right. He had to fight for it. Yeah. Yeah. Which is a great story. But yeah, I thought it gave me very, very vibes of that classic Tim Burton. It's a lot gorier than you're going to expect. I forget the young lady's character, whoever played Wednesday. She did a phenomenal job. Specifically, like the dance scene kind of I think encapsulates her whole character, because it's this loose cannon. But Jenna Ortega, thank you. But she's like this loose cannon, inside and out, and then like as the series goes on, she starts to kind of lighten up a little bit, and you could see that in kind of that final scene, and it's very weird and unique and different and beautiful and funny, and I just really enjoyed the series. I didn't think I was going to like it. I do have one criticism. I'm not a fan of Gomez, and I know that was intentional, but if you look at like Addams Family, the original, He was a very, French, Pepe Le Pew type of guy. If you know Gomez, he's not like that. He's short, out of shape.
I think
they went more with the cartoon character of Gomez.
Yes, that's exactly what they did.
Because he's short. Yeah.
The funny thing was his name's Gomez, and people were shocked that they would pick a Latina to play him
because they were all Latino. Too,
yeah. I love this show. This show is great. And here, the best part about the show to me is that it focused on Wednesday, which is the only interesting character in the Addams family. Now,
I agree.
So to me, well, hang on, we'll go around and say Zack will get his turn. But to me, the weakest parts of the show are when they brought in Morticia, Gomez, Pugsley, and even
Fester.
I hate to say it, Fester.
Yep.
They were almost caricatures of the characters, and Wednesday to me was a fully fleshed out, actually, person character. And so the fact that I could deal with them in the amount that they were there, it was fine. But I could see if this was a whole show of them. I mean, Morticia and Gomez were just, they were just all over each other the whole time. Like they couldn't stop kissing each other. And it was like, I get it. It was in the show and now you're doing it. It was too much. It was just too much. And I will say that Gwendolyn Christie was amazing in this. And she finally got a chance to be, and she said this, beautiful, pretty. Usually she's,
who does she play in it?
Well, she was the headmaster, but she got to be a woman. Meaning like they didn't cover her up like in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And they didn't make her all like just brooding like in Game of Thrones. And so that was a quote that she had done where she felt that was the first time.
And while you're on actresses, sorry to interrupt, but Christina Ricci coming strong, also a huge character in this, which is obviously paying homage because she was the original Wednesday. So that was interesting.
So she's in it. Okay.
Every
great.
episode. She's
really great. Yeah. It's got a lot of Harry Potter vibes. If you like Harry Potter, you definitely would definitely like this show. Let's see what Jerry has to say.
This might be one that I'll
the comic strip.
Okay.
Yeah. So
how old is Wednesday in this?
Early teenager.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's wretched
she just turned 16
for that reason.
in this. Yeah.
There's a dance scene in the movie. I think in the show. I think it's in episode 3 or 4. It's probably one of the best scenes of any show ever. Like it'll go down. I think is like just an iconic scene of any TV show clip in the future. It's all over YouTube and
it will be the dance that we talk about now with Travolta and Thelma and Pulp Fiction.
Oh, wow.
That's how it's going to be in 15 years for sure.
Yeah.
Zack's in the lower right corner here going, what?
You fucking love it.
What are you guys talking about?
I made that I blew that up even more because I saw your face. I was like, I need to blow this out of fucking proportion.
People remember Wednesday the same way they remember Pulp Fiction, how the cinema changed. Oscar award-winning movie, Pulp Fiction. Wednesday is going to be remembered just like that. Probably. Yeah, probably.
The dance move.
Nope.
No, I agree with you, Tony. I agree with you, Tony.
There's no way anyone's going to remember this terrible CW show or one dance in it. This is not a good show, by the way. The only reason people like this show is because Wednesday Addams is in it. And the reason it feels disjointed to you, Jess, is because it's a disjointed show. It is a show that's written for a CW audience about a troubled woman with powers. Guess what that is not? Wednesday Addams. Guess also what that is not? The Addams Family. The Addams Family is a cohesive family that under no circumstance do they break apart as a family. Now you give me one show where one sibling of a family goes and does something, realizes she has powers, and then has to do some murder mystery. Are you kidding me? That's not at all. This is nostalgia bait, and you guys fell for it hard.
Definitely do that.
Is it a decent show? Sure, it's a decent show. Should it not have been called Wednesday? Yes, 100%. I don't care who directs it. This is not a Wednesday Addams show. This is a TikTok-driven show that is for CW and for just gothy, morose teenagers, which is fine. But label what it is.
I thought I was the grump here.
No,
They're reinventing.
Wow,
Also, I
I mean,
hate the
Zach
Green
pulled
Book.
that rug right from under you,
Dude,
man.
They're reinventing the character.
But
Zach,
you
you're
can't
like the
reinvent
guy.
the character while
Hold
also
on.
complaining about how characters are different than the original. Like that doesn't
No.
make any. You can't have the
Well,
same.
no one's saying that. I'm saying that Gomez should have been more accurate
The
to
one
what we've
thing
seen
that
in
we
the
know
past.
about Morticia and Gomez is that they love each other. They are
Right.
in love more than anything. And then in this show, all that we see them doing is being in love, which is all you're supposed to know about them, except for the crazy stuff where, oh, all right, I forgot I had powers, and you're going to maybe get your powers too soon. So go back to Harry Potter school because you deserve that.
The Harry Potter school.
Everyone had to have powers, because if not, it'd be a stupid show and it'd be very boring, right?
There is no
Like, that's the
powers
whole
in the
purpose.
Addams Family until this show.
Right. Well, Addams Family, just so you know, they're not based off real people. They were made up.
Wait a minute.
So
So
why-
Fester could put a
true.
light bulb in his mouth.
But why is this called Addams Family then?
It's
Why is
called
this
Wednesday.
Well, it's Wednesday, but this is the Addams Family. Why is it the
Right.
Addams Family if we're going to change all the characters and give people new things to do?
You already know the answer, Zach.
Yeah.
They're just trying to
Well,
to
first
of
ride
all-
that
first-
IP.
Nostalgia
course.
bait,
Well,
guys.
first
Yeah.
of all, you're just
Yes.
basing the fact that they
I watched
didn't
all
have
of it.
quote unquote powers based on the TV show that
Or
was
comic, or the
a
two movies.
limited version of it.
Two
that-
movies, 3 cartoons, and a comic strip. No powers.
I could,
But they,
I
but
can
it-
tell
it
you
was-
who's
but it
really
was
happy.
clearly set in
Yeah.
a world that was. I mean, Zach, I hate to break this to you. One of the main characters is a chopped off hand that walks,
So
talks,
what?
and communicates.
So what?
Spoiler
When I go
alert.
into the Addams Family, if I go into Harry Potter, I expect magic. I expect magic. Is magic real? No. But if I go to a Harry Potter universe, I'm going to look for magic. If I go to the Addams Family universe, I'm going to go into the lore that they've given me, or else why put it in this universe? You're making me think of Addams Family.
I agree.
Right? You're making me think Addams Family.
I'm actually
and then
agreeing
you're
with this now
subverting
too.
all
I mean, I didn't
expectations.
watch it yet, but
No.
but man,
is
that's
good.
some lazy
Hold on.
First of
filmmaking.
all,
Hold on,
first of all,
here's the
Morticia-
thing.
It is a good show.
Go-
It does not need to be Addams
Fester in
Family.
the show could light up bulbs with his mouth, and there
He
was
was struck by
a
lightning.
thing, and there was always crazy people, and they were definitely macabre. They took
Nope.
it to
They were
a
the
current
minority
level.
family that stuck together no matter what happens. And what
You
you,
just-
do in a
hold
show
on, you just
is
said
you
it.
break them apart and put
You
them in
just said
different
it.
parts. What?
You just said it. Minority. They were the minority family that
Yeah.
that stayed together.
Yeah.
And when we saw them in the comic strips and when we saw them in the 2 movies,
Mhm.
they were always together. Then they
Yep.
would go out into a world like a camp where there was no more humans.
Hmm.
This is showing us a totally different side
They went to
where
camp
there
with
is
humans.
another world like a Harry Potter Twilight world where there's other metas like a half off chop hand,
Mhm.
and there's these freak shows running around.
Yeah, I guess that is true. They do
It's
have
showing-
that spooky hand.
It's showing
lying
you
around.
something you haven't seen in the
Lurch
comics.
was
and
like
everything
a
else.
zombie, right? I mean,
Yeah,
Lurch,
dude, it's a different world.
yeah. I mean,
You're
Lurch-
like the guy that if
No, I'm not.
because Heath
No, I'm not.
Ledger passed
Whatever you say I'm
passed
about,
away,
I'm not like that guy.
there's a new Joker, and you're like, he's not wearing white makeup, so it's not accurate.
you know
That's
what?
not me
Zach-
at all.
You know,
That is 100% not me, Tony. Stop
But-
saying you know me. You
Zach,
don't know me.
Zach
This
sits
is what you're
around all
saying.
day defending Rocco from Sesame Street.
And also Rocco's Modern Life.
Well, Zach,
Look,
Zach is
I'll stand up for
unhappy.
anything, and I also have a point of view, and I'm allowed to have it, Tony.
No,
I don't care that you
I-
like a
no.
friggin' TikTok dance on Wednesday. I don't care. It does not need to be Addams Family. It's a fine show. It's a fine show.
I do agree with you, Zach, that it could have not been the Addams Family. Like they could have removed Morticia and Fester, and Wednesday
Sure.
could have just been a character.
Mhm.
But the only reason they made her Wednesday was so that people would watch it.
IP,
Exactly.
for sure.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't disagree with that, but
Yeah.
I fell for it. Hook, line, sinker. I loved it. And here's the best part about the show, which you're choosing not to.
Oh, you're gonna tell me your friggin' daughter was in it or something?
She was in Batman v Superman.
I know.
But
Right.
what was I gonna say? You lost my train of thought is gone now. The
The most
Yeah.
important part.
the most important part was, and other people have told me the same thing, is I'm like, I've got this figured out. Hook, line, and sinker. I've got it down. I know who did it. I know who that person is. I know what's going on. And then I'd be like, oh crap, I was wrong.
Oh.
Okay, now I know it's this person. And then it's the old 1 minute before the reveal where everyone thinks, oh, it was Tony, right?
Mhm.
And it was like just because they're about to tell you anyway. And it's like, of course. And then you're like, I was wrong again. You know what I mean? It's like it's
was an
great. It was great
entertaining-
that
That's
way.
honestly, that's why I show up to every Addams Family, is to get to the bottom of the murder mystery. God damn it. I gotta figure out who did this murder. Tell me this,
Well,
please,
but
and
that's
give me
what
some
this
more power.
was. It is all about murder. They're
That's what it is.
definitely
You're-
all
you're-
like obsessed with that. I mean, they definitely. I
In
don't think
fact,
that was.
like when I saw that this was coming about, and I'm just assuming the plot in my head from what I'm seeing in the trailer, I kept thinking that like I was like, what is the action of this this series? Because don't they just like kind of her and Pugsley would just try to kill each other in
Yeah.
all of the already
Just good
existing
family.
properties.
Just a good
So I was like,
family.
is she murdering people? Like, what are we
Yeah.
doing on this?
No,
and so
no.
and so she
No.
had to have powers.
She's waiting.
What
She's
kind
waiting.
of powers?
She's waiting to get her powers. She can get powers if she touches people sometimes. Then she can see the past sometimes and actually like understand what people are trying to do. But it's because her mom had the powers to begin with, and that's why they went to this magic school to start, is so that you could find your powers even if you don't have powers.
Interesting.
Because this is the Addams Family, and you gotta get down to the murder mystery or the powers or the something.
Well,
But not
this-
family values, not the Addams Family. Right.
Look, there was no one better than Raul Julia and Angelica Houston
Mhm.
as Gomez and Morticia.
I didn't like that either.
Agreed.
Wow.
Yeah, honestly, we
I'm
can
with
get
Jeff on that one.
Bob's opinion.
No,
like,
I'm with Jeff on that one. That's
I don't have
the Addams
an
Family I grew
opinion.
up with.
I'm just going to say this: the absolute happiest person involved in that show has got to be Christina Ricci, because she's been in Reverse for like 10 years, you know,
Yeah.
and she now is, I don't know, she's a regular on it. She's a regular
Yeah.
character. So
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So hooray, fan service, good for that. You know,
But she
Not-
was good. She delivered. She was more than fan
Yeah.
service. I mean,
okay.
and the funny thing about Christina Ricci being in it was all the TikTokers going, "You see this person? Well, this person was the original Wednesday. We're uncovering an
Yeah.
exclusive." And I'm like, what? I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, we've got a most obvious piece of trivia for you. And I was like, I kept seeing that. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God, this is why they're famous and I'm not, because I just don't think to go, here's the obvious thing that everyone knows.
Because
It's
their
more often
audience
than
is
not
made
the
up of
audience.
people who buy it. Yeah, they didn't
First of
know
all,
that.
I think Wednesday was great. Jenna Ortega was great.
I agree.
I will
think
watch an
all
episode.
This Jenna Ortega is worth
She's great.
watching. It's worth
I
watching.
mean, I have
just
to
for
give it
her.
a try. I feel
gotta
like
try
I'm,
it now.
I'm caught between
No,
it.
Jenna
between
Ortega
the
was
two.
great. She never blinks on camera. So cool. Not one blink ever. And that's so amazing.
And I
she does
watched.
it-
think that's
too.
She does a
intentional?
great job.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was intentional.
She did
Okay.
it one time, like trying to do it, and then Tim Burton told her, "That's your character from now on. You have to do this."
Yeah.
Fun.
constantly." Yep. And that dance move she choreographed herself based on a couple other things that she looked at, and like it's a very good show. It's a cool show. Just
Well, listen,
So-
I will say this, and all joking aside, the first thing I said out of my mouth when he said, "Hey, let's talk about Wednesday," is I said, "Go into this thinking what? Don't think about Addams Family.
Mhm.
It's a new show." That was the whole point. Is you got to forget everything else. It's like the DCEU. Okay, you have to forget every movie before it because every two days they're trying to reinvent something. Like you
they
just
don't
go into it.
change. They don't change how Batman works, though. He's still an
No, no.
orphan, and he still has a cave.
Bro, what do
and
you
he still
mean?
has those powers.
I'll have this Batman debate with you some other time, but you do Batman, you do Batman Returns, and then automatically 2 years later you bring in Val Kilmer.
Mhm.
They're letting us know, hey, let's forget about the other two movies. That's my point with this is they're changing everything up, and you got to forget. You go into this fresh, like there was no Addams Family, and you go in appreciating these characters, and then soaking it up, and then by season 2, I bet we're gonna get more of the Addams Family character that you're talking about, and maybe because this is such an early reboot, maybe they had powers in the movie. The Addams Family movie.
yeah.
So when we get to that, maybe she just won't use her powers because they're now a
Yeah,
cohesive family unit. You got to
I,
think
well,
big.
I
on
will.
this,
I will
Jack.
tell you.
I'm not thinking big enough for Addams Family.
How many
I'm thinking-
episodes are currently out there?
There's
Is
8
it 10
episodes.
of-
So
8 episodes.
52.
Season's done.
I will tell you that it was
Did I actually hear a
great that they took cell phones out of the equation, and so that
Oh.
you weren't able
Lazy.
to like
Lazy writing.
sure. No, that made it harder.
Lazy writing.
So it's set in a time before cell phones?
no,
No. They just
No.
didn't. They
They just
can't have
didn't
them.
recognize that they existed.
Okay.
so
yeah,
lazy. So lazy.
All right, we better before this time.
Let's talk about
Now I'm
Thursday
looking
tomorrow.
at it on TikTok.
All right. Well, on TikTok, now TikTok is all women dressed as Wednesday now.
Yeah.
That's not a complaint.
sounds right.
I'm just saying TikTok now is all, my algorithm is all Wednesday cosplay.
Wow. Don't tell the wife, huh?
Yeah.
No, she knows because she can hear dance, dance, dance.
Reset your password.
Yeah.
Sugar
Man.
cookies. All right, cool.
All right. Well, that was fun. Okay. Should we bash on the Black Adam some more or no? I'm just kidding.
Yes, we should. That Hawkman was the worst.
Is the
Here's the
Rock
problem
using
with
steroids
Black
or
Adam.
what?
You want to know what the real problem with Black Adam is? And this is the problem with a lot of movies these days, is that this is not a plot-driven movie, right? The plot tells Black Adam what to do and just pushes him into scenes and does something. The character never makes a decision and the plot changes based on that. And that's the problem with a lot of writing these days, is like, you look at somebody like a Black Adam, you're like, well, I need him to be over there. So then you just punch him super hard until he's in that room, and then the story goes along. And that's just lazy writing. And that's the problem with a lot of stuff these days, is they don't actually take the time to write what a human would do. It's like, I need this human to be in a magic school. They're in magic school. There's no like real reason why things happen. And that's why Black Adam's so dumb.
It sounds like my act. There's no, the writing is hackneyed.
There's no transitions.
It's tired.
Just
Yeah.
lazy.
Just doesn't go anywhere. Let's talk about like
And they just keep talking about Wednesday. Guess what? Wednesday's never coming.
yeah.
Well, all right. Well, let's wrap it up. This is the end of episode 98. Episode 100 is on the 21st. So you guys, everyone tune in for that. We got a special episode. But in the meantime, this is Jess Paul.
Bye.
Good night. You
Where
can say
you
good
going?
night. I was just saying, or you can remind people where to find you.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll do that first. Yeah, this is Jess Paul. It's like right there.
Mhm.
You can just type it into Google. Something will probably come up.
Nice.
Awesome. Tony B.
At the Berardo. And yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. This was fun.
All right. Zach.
Honestly, check out Just Paul's stuff. It's right there. That's the good
Yeah.
stuff. Check that out.
Zach wins the award for randomly pointing at something else and getting it right on the very first time.
Yeah. I never
do
get
so many
that right.
podcasts.
I never get that right. Good for you.
It's like the USB thing. And
Yeah.
check out Zach. Bob, say goodnight.
Yeah, don't check out any of my stuff. Check out Jess's stuff. It's much
Guys, oh my
Seriously,
gosh.
But you
Please
can
do.
see me at Janetti's Hole in the Wall Theater on the 22nd with my show partner, Sal D'Amelio, with the Sal and Bob Show. I will be at the Funny Bone in Toledo December 30th and New Year's Eve for 4 shows. So come on out.
Nice.
You can check out Bob and Sal show podcast, my podcast, Classic Conversations. You can hear my interview with Melissa Rivers. And then I will be doing comedy at the Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle, December 15th, 16th, and 17th.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah,
You can
baby.
come out.
The
and
guy
do
who
it.
doesn't want to do comedy anymore.
Well, you know, sometimes I
Tick,
try to get out and they pull me back.
Yes. Landau is there tomorrow. through
Oh, he's
Saturday.
good.
Yeah.
He's good. He's good.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much. And we'll see you next week.
Peace.
And that has been another episode of Crossing the Streams. Join us every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, live on Facebook and YouTube. Follow the Jeff DeWaskin Show on YouTube to be alerted every time we go live with your hosts, Jeff DeWaskin, Ron Lippett, Howard Rosner, Bob Phillips, Sal D'Amelio. We're all in the socials. Follow us, listen to our podcasts, Classic Conversations, and the Sal and Bob Show. Check them all out, and we'll see you next week and every week when we cross more streams right here. See you then.